Yeah. When I pull up on the scene, dead fresh and casket clean, they gon' hate on me. Yeah. Gon' hate on me. When I pull up on the scene, dead fresh and casket clean, they gon' hate on me. Yeah. Gon' hate on me. When I pull up on the scene, dead fresh and casket clean, they gon' hate on me. Yeah. Gon' hate on me. When I pull up on the scene, dead fresh and casket clean, they gon'
Yes. We glad to have you back around. Today we got Coach Alex. I'm Kay, and of course, this is the Biscayne Breakdown play-in edition. How you doing today, Alex?
Just here so I won't get fined, man.
Jesus. Joe, we haven't worked out what that part of the employee manual looks like, but whenever we get to it, just know that Alex is in the clear. Everybody else owes us money, though. Anyway, man, speaking of getting what you owe, the Miami Heat, of course, once again find themselves in the play-in tournament. It's like an annual tradition, a time like no other, like the Masters in golf. Every April, you're going to find the Miami Heat. Every April for the last few Aprils, let's say, you found the Miami Heat in the play-in situation. And more often than not, they found a way to climb themselves up out of the doldrums and, get themselves into the playoffs, albeit to maybe make a run or albeit to get obliterated in the first round as they were last year against the Cleveland Cavaliers. But this isn't unfamiliar territory for the Miami Heat. I'll start with that. So, knowing that the Miami Heat are in the play-in, and we won't get too much into who they're playing just yet, but just to wrap your mind around the overall thought of being in the play-in once again, a tradition unlike any other, like the Masters. Yes, I'm stealing y'all. Shh. Anyway, but yeah, Alex, give me your thoughts on that.
Hey, man, you already know, man. It's that time of the year. It's the Miami Heat Invitational. We done had some teams leave us in the Invitational. Congratulations to the Hawks for making it out of the Invitational. RIP to the Chicago Bulls for not being able to make it. But actually, congratulations to the Chicago Bulls for finally picking a direction and being like, hey, yo, we getting out of the Miami Heat Invitational. But, yeah, man.
Hey, man, they still playing PAW, brother. And they got rid of them other guys because the contracts is ended. So, man, it was they were still forced. I mean, they couldn't be good with what they had, so they just said they're gonna suck. But we're not gonna get into that. We got all off season to talk about that. Go ahead though. I just had to catch you before you threw some more poo on the Miami Heat. Leave by way of the Chicago Bulls.
I'm sorry. I'm just okay with the fact that they picked to not be in the play-in. But hey, dog, it's exactly where we did not want to be. Going into this season, had high hopes for them to not be in the play-in, had high hopes for them to be a top 6 seed. And yeah, we're freaking number 10. Like I don't remember. Yeah, we're literally the worst team out of all the teams that tried. That's literally how you can really look at it. We're literally the worst team out of all the teams that actually tried to make the playoffs. We're the worst ones. That doesn't make me feel good at all.
I can't argue with you because the numbers don't lie. The facts don't lie. Everything has been skewed by this last month of Miami Heat basketball. And many people would say that it was just as much skewed on the front end by the way that their offense hit the league right out of the gate this season. But they've been the last or near the last place defense in the league for the last month or so. When traditionally they found themselves in the top 8, 9 defense all year prior to that to go along with the top offense. The Miami Heat won't finish inside the top 10 defensively for the first time, and I think they said 6 consecutive years this year. And it has everything to do with that last month of the season. Now, you can say that that's indicative of who they are because that's when teams know that they have to get themselves up to make that final push to potentially get what they want to get from a playoff seeding perspective, and then going deeper into the playoffs, of course. and they weren't able to ratchet up to that next gear, or they didn't have the wherewithal to resist what was coming at them from the perspective of all the other teams jockeying for position, trying to get wins off of their own. But at the same time, the Miami Heat at some point this year, as you alluded to yourself, at some point this year looked as though they were going to be a team capable of challenging for a top 6 seed. And I think that speaks to the overall point when it's like we know they're never not going to try going into a season. So unless they go, and this is like pre-All-Star break, if they look like this pre-All-Star break with a 10, 11 game skid, players banged up in and out, you're 100% right. Maybe they lean more into considering that tank. It's going to hurt, and they traditionally don't do that. But if you can see it going down bad that early, then that's one thing. But for the Miami Heat to be consistently competitive, show you sparks, knowing what you got in the rafters, like as far as Tyler not being healthy, Pell, Jaime being in and out, Norm being sporadic, but still playing well enough to be an all-star, knocking down shots. Bam looking like he's finding it, Kellel knocking down. I mean, what you're seeing there, it wasn't preposterous for them to try this year in the beginning, I would say, right? I'm not crazy about saying that, right?
No, you're not. You're not. And like basically
I'm gonna let you get right there. That's what I'm doing, wrapping it up. So that's all I'm saying to that point. It's like, yeah, we mad at the outcome, but it's not crazy based on everything that I just said. Like for them to go try this year. And again, upset, but it's just not a preposterous idea before we go all the way on tank. You know what I mean? Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, and you good, because I'm not of the mindset where it's like, oh, tank, to be totally honest. But it's just like, I mean, shoot, I look at it like this. Like I said, the goal was to not be in the play-in. They're still in the play-in. And we had went on like a 5-7 game win streak at one point, literally like a month or so ago. And I remember when we won that last game, like we were basically tied for 4th or 5th. So it was just like, yo, like, all right, you're 38-29, you're 9 games above 500.
He was like 2 games out of 3rd, actually.
Yeah, like it was like, oh snap, like, oh wow, like this is different.
But then you proceeded to lose double-digit games.
Yeah, and then it literally just came crashing down. And it was just like, all right, like, and I know I've said this on different pods all year. We were good enough to beat anybody and bad enough to lose to anybody, which puts you right back in the middle. And we're not even in the good middle. We're in the lower end of the middle. Like I said, we were the worst team.
So we in the bottom 3rd quadrant of the middle.
Yeah, like how back in the day when the ESPN article used to say, oh, the Miami Heat are dangerously looming. We ain't dangerous at all. Ain't looming at nothing. We're just here. We're just, hey guys, I got invited to the cool kids party. But my mom coming to get me early, so I'm not even gonna be here when all the action really get going. I'm just gonna be able to be like, yo, I was there. But then the next day at school, when everybody's talking about, hey, yo, you remember when such and such, you remember when Shay jumped off the freaking roof and ended up in the pool? I was already at home in my PJs, rubbing feet together, dog. Like that's what the Heat are. That's what the Heat are right now.
That's crazy. That is wild, first of all.
I don't know how I just came up with that analogy on the spot there. But hey.
Touche, my brother. Touche. Let's look at the matchup. Hell, the Charlotte Hornets. What do you expect out of this game against the Charlotte Hornets on Wednesday? I mean, Tuesday night. It's Tuesday, right? Yeah,
Tuesday. We play them tomorrow. Honestly, I think the Heat are gonna play a absolutely hellish, amazing first quarter. We're gonna be feeling great after the first quarter, and then them Bud City Killers gonna run us out the gym. That is honestly, and I feel like I'm projecting. Like that is what I hope happens. Like that. Like honestly, that's what I hope happens. I hope that all right, they're competitive. Oh yeah, they're gonna be feeling good, and then next thing you know, you're gonna look up. and it's gonna be like, Dad, and the Hornets have just went on 25-7 run, and Spo out there just looking distraught, and it's like the guys are just looking around like, Dad, like this is how it's going. Like that's honestly like, yeah, it's GG's, man. It's GG's.
I think that there are a couple of different things that come into play here. First of all, you're counting on LaMelo Ball to be responsible in a playoff atmosphere. That's a bit hard. That's all I'm saying. All right. Secondly, Spo is a very good situational coach. And when you're talking about play-in, playoff basketball, it's all about the microcosm. It's all about the nuance with which you handle each individual situation, because that can set the tone or change the whole tide of a game or a moment. And then you have the Miami Heat. Just by nature, when they in a position where they shouldn't do something, that's the very time they do it. But if Bam had to score 60 this year, we all would have been like, Bam dropped 60 though. But Bam scored 83. And that's not to harken back on that, like, oh, we got to hang. But the Miami Heat 10 years from now, if it hadn't happened, 10 years from now, matter of fact, no, if it hadn't happened already, I could have asked 10 people, you included, Joel included, who's doing the producing today. Shout out to Joel. Probably somewhere dancing to disco music with his sunshades on. If I'd have told you to give me 5, I'd have gave you 5 guesses. Name the dude that's gonna break Kobe Bryant's record in Miami Heat. Like, name him. Like, just even if he in college right now, and you can be sure he's coming to the Miami Heat, name him. And nobody out of all 50 of those guesses, because remember I said 10 people, including you and Joel, 5 guesses apiece. Nobody out of them 50 guesses would have been Bam Adebayo. And the 1 or 2 people that would have said it would have been absolutely trolling. Am I right?
Well, so when you added the part with it being that they were on the Miami Heat, like if you would have just said in general, hold on, go back, because you're right. I was about to say, with you saying a person on the Miami Heat, and you got 5 guesses, one of my guesses would have ended up being Bam, but because of the fact that you narrowed it down to just the Miami Heat, and I would have been like, oh, well, I guess Bam can get stupidly hot one game, but he not even gonna shoot the ball that much. Like that's probably what I would have said.
You still would have talked yourself out of it a little bit though.
Yeah, like I would have mentioned his name, but would have been like, yo, like, because I mean, beforehand, I didn't think Bam was gonna score 50 in his career, because I was just like, he's just not gonna shoot the ball that much in one game to score this amount of points. Like that's just not how he's wired. Shoot, I forgot what the original question was. Well,
I just asked you what you thought of the Charlotte game, and you pretty much answer it. You think they're gonna play hard, but you don't want them to win.
And now I just pulled up Bleacher Report, and unless something changes, I really think they're gonna lose now. Pele Larson is out. Pele Larson don't play. Man, he's the toughness. He's like behind Bam to me. He's the dog. He's the toughness. I don't care what's going on. I'm leaving it all out here. Pele don't play. We're screwed.
Now, has that been ruled with certainty, or is that just still?
I'm just looking at it right now. It said, yes, it has Drew Smith out, Jovic out, Pele Larson out, Fontecchio out. And I did, before we jumped on the pod, I was listening to Tobin or whatever. I was listening to Tobin talk about, and he said, I was just sitting there and I just heard him say something about, yeah, and it's not going to be looking good because Drew Smith is out and Pele Larson is out too. Like, so he said it, and I was thinking to myself, is that true? But I hadn't looked it up or nothing yet, but I'm looking at it right now, and it said, unless something crazy changes, then it says they out.
Yeah, that is a tough one. That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
Very much so.
But listen, man. Again, of course, I want the Miami Heat to win. I can't say that they will, though, because like you said, Charlotte could be firing on all cylinders. They could be having one of them crazy nights where they're making all the shots between Conk and Nipple, between Brandon Miller, between, you know what I mean, LaMelo, you know, Miles Bridges could even get hot. I mean, if you leave him open and let him get to his looks. And of course, if you let that boy, Diabate, I think that's what his name is. Diabate. Oh man, I gave the man the sugar. Diabate. If you let him kill you on the glass, then it's gonna be a long night. I promise you. But listen, the Miami Heat, it's more 50-50 to me than it is anything. So that's how I feel about that. Now, just for you know, words I can't say and giggles, you fill in the blank. If the Miami Heat were to win, they would then play the winner. The loser of the Orlando and Philly. So if they got Orlando, we probably in agreement that they probably gonna go down.
Very much so.
Okay. They could probably beat Philly though, especially without Joel Embiid.
It's not a probably. If they win, well, yeah. If the Magic win and the Heat win, the Heat are making the playoffs. That's just what it is. That's literally, you could just write it down, take it to the bank. If they beat the Hornets and the Magic win, the Heat are gonna beat the Sixers. Without Joel Embiid, the Heat are gonna beat the Sixers. The Heat are gonna be the AC. They're gonna play the Detroit Pistons. That's just what it is.
And I think that's what I'm ultimately trying to get to. How would you feel about a series with the Detroit Pistons and the Miami Heat?
I mean, Cade is back. Cade isn't truthfully 100%, but he's back. I think with like basically you hinted at earlier in regard to Eric Spoelstra, obviously we call him the mad genius sometimes. Like he's going to be able to get them at least one game, and then just off of the strength of obviously without Cade, they were still able to win some games, but Detroit's offense mostly is, ayo, Cade create everything. Then when the bench comes in, it's just, ayo, we're just trying to turn you over and get. And
to your point, they treated Jenkins like that when Cade was out. Like, yo, go create, penetrate, look for your own shot, and we're gonna try to play off you. So it wasn't to the level of Cade, but no, that's just their offense. And which in my mind, not to cut you off, but to add to that, that's the type of offense in the playoffs that could get you in some trouble, right?
Definitely could, especially against, like I said, a mad genius like Spo. Like he'll scheme something to where like you literally will not be able to do that. Like that's not going to be able to work. And so with that being said, like I feel like with Spo at the head of the snake, with all the experience that a bunch of guys on our team have, like we could scare the crap out of the Pistons. Like we could, everybody healthy, we could push that to 6. Possibly even if guys are literally playing over their heads, we could possibly push that to 7. Would I pick us? No. It would shock me. I said it would shock me if we won it, but like, yeah, the Pistons, like that's honestly a team that if they matched up against, they could scare the crap out of them and potentially like have people like, oh snap, well, yeah, the Heat were the 10 seed or whatever, but shoot, look at what they did to the 1 seed. Like, but I mean, I ain't gonna say what else I was gonna say.
Why not?
I already hinted at it. Like I don't want them to make the playoffs. Like I already hinted at it.
Right.
I want them to get ran over. So, but like I said,
I just don't feel like you're truly feeling that inside your core. I feel like there's something in your soul that's telling you that this bunch and Eric Spoelstra are gonna find a way to knock the Hornets off tomorrow. And then, like said, I do believe that Orlando's probably going to beat Philly because of the no Joel Embiid thing. And as you said out of your own mouth, my brother, if Orlando wins and the Miami Heat, if the two Florida teams can find ways to get wins in their Eastern Conference play-in games, that the Miami Heat are going to end up being the 8th seed. That's what you said, effectively.
I'm going to be so sad if they make the playoffs.
But here's the thing, though, bro.
Oh, my God.
Why are you going to be sad? The draft position don't change that much. They probably they get a 4% chance to hop into, the top 4 picks?
Top 4. And then it's like a 1% chance to get the number 1 pick. But it's like we've been stuck for so long that like they don't need anything to happen within the next however long it takes for the season to end for them to be able to come back during the summer and be like, hey man, if you look at it this way, yada yada. If you look at it, hey, yeah, Tyler and Norm didn't look like it worked together, but they only played 20-something games. Maybe if you look at it, like I don't want them to have anything and any ability to say anything like that. No, it has to crash and burn. And the only reason, like I said, that it didn't crash and burn is because I saw something today where it said like, I think this was the first time in NBA history that at least 8 teams had over 55, at least 55 losses. So it's like, yo, and then the team that's right behind us, which was the Bucks, like they just weren't good at all. Like they tried, they were terrible. Giannis was getting hurt, yada yada. So they realized, all right, like we're not good enough. Again, out of all the teams that really, really tried really, really hard, we are the worst one. That's terrible. That's so bad.
So here's my thing, man. You're not wrong about any of it. I mean, from the perspective of what it might take for them to make changes. But I think what's different about this year, this offseason, than any other year prior, and at least in the last 5, they know what they have. And I say that to say they know Tyler's coming up on new money. They know Norm is going to need new money. They just watched Tyler for the 4th, 5th year play hardly any games, 31, 32, I think. They watched Norm break down towards the back end of the season. I also think that they're going to look at that last month of the season and say things need to happen. But more importantly than any of that, we now know that they were willing to trade Tyler Hero and other pieces for Giannis Antetokounmpo.
They've been
so it's not like some, but we hadn't heard it though, bro. Now we know it's different. So it's we know regardless of what happens at this particular point, those two roads look to be diverging more than they do coming together. Now, here's what I fear. Here's another part that I fear. Because I hate the bar saying from Stephen A. Smith of all people, but it's fluid, yo. Because let's say Tyler and Norm are the reason or big parts of the reason they're able to make it out of the play-in, take Detroit 6 or 7, yada, 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 and they go nuts along the way. That's going to cause one of them to get some new money. At least one of them. Disagree or agree?
100% agree.
And I think that would be like Norm on something reasonable, but that ain't something we got to talk about right now. That's really nothing we got to talk about right now. Look, man, we ain't really want to do nothing heavy. We just wanted to get on here and chop it up a little bit about the game. Touch on a little topics, stuff like that. Did you have anything else that you wanted to get to about this game, Alex? So that was pretty much it, man.
That's it.
I got you. Don't sound so sad, man. It might all be over tomorrow for the love of the game. And what's going to happen, people, is since we so brief tonight, we're going to instantly react, or at least try to instantly react to Tuesday's night's action on Wednesday. If Alex is available, I'd definitely like to have him back on, as well as any other panel members, you know what I mean, that you haven't seen, haven't had a chance to see. so far in the last couple of weeks or months since we've been back, trying to be a little more consistent. But yeah, after Alex finishes his prayer, I mean, I'd like to ask him, what did you pray for, Alex?
I asked for God to please let us lose tomorrow.
Wow, you wasting prayers on that. I see, and Spo gonna have to play deviant. Spo gonna have to play deviant.
We go.
I mean, listen.
Keyshawn Johnson checking in the game tomorrow. His fella not playing.
As always, man, we appreciate you for lending your ear to this sound. That is the most pessimistic coach, Alex. I'm K, and this is the Biscayne Breakdown.
Hold up. Last day.
Hit the button, Joe.
How many offensive rebounds is Khalil gonna give up before Spo just bench him for the whole game tomorrow?
Joe, I said hit the button.
Now I pull up on the scene, dead fresh and casket clean. They gon' hate on me.